Gideon has 4 days of downtime. What does he do? Well, in the Sungrim core rules, characters when resting automatically heal 1 hit point every 12 hours. So I think that's when he sleeps. So over 4 days, he will heal 4 hit points, taking him to 10 out of his max 13. But what about the other 48 hours? There is not much to do in a cell, and there's no way that Gideon is getting through the door. So exercise is the only option to him. So training is a downtime activity where he gains +1 XP for each hour he trains. So over that 48 hours, he is going to work on his body and gain 48 experience, and that can only be spent on gaining points in the body stat. But 48 is enough to get him +1 stat for 24 experience. And he is 24 out of 35 experience from the next stat increase. What is Gideon's mental like at this time? I feel like he is vindicated in a way, that there is another group with authority and power that is misusing it to hold an innocent man. This only fuels his anti-establishment views. But also earlier we saw that Gideon is in some way feels like he deserves this. And now he has got his wish. There is some part of him that must feel cathartic about the situation, that he has been punished for his actions. And that could be a reason why he makes no actions to try and escape or leave. Gideon sits in the dim cell, contemplating his situation. The room is silent. The walls seem closer and more oppressive than before. His body hurts and his mind races with many thoughts. Hours go by. Gideon tries to think of a way out, but he comes to nothing. His mind keeps falling to dark places. Although his body aches, he begins to exercise, keeps his mind busy counting reps and sets. There is not much to do in the cell. Hours turn to days. Once a day, the door is opened, the bucket is emptied, he is thrown an MRE. Always 3 men, 2 with firearms, 1 with food and water, and then the door is shut. The light of the cell was dim, but never turns off. Time is warped, and Gideon is forced to confront his thoughts. He is vindicated in a way. Here is another authority with power that misuses it, holding an innocent man. The rage, the justice he wants to bring simmers and boils in the rage that swells within him. There are other thoughts, ones of self-punishment. He convinces himself he deserves this, in some part. He is punished for his actions. With this, a cold calm washes over him. The first torture session comes. Gideon loses 1d4 hit points, equaling 4, putting him back down to 6 hit points. But now, because of his training, his max hit points are 14. Gideon cannot speak their language and says nothing. He gains the 4 trauma points. Let's make that willpower test. To make a willpower test, you roll a d10, and you want to roll equal or less than your current soul stat. Gideon's soul stat is 1, but as a bad emotion drifter, he gains +2 soul to willpower checks. So he needs a 3 or less to pass. He got a 3 and passes. I think Gideon leans into the self-loathing, survivor's guilt, and catharsis. He feels like he deserves this for what he has done. Gideon is taken from sleep and grabbed by 3 men. He does not fight. He is bound and taken into another room. He is not seen before and beaten. Gideon has been beaten before, and this is not new. Wounds that were healing split open again. The taste of blood re-enters his mouth. Gideon cannot speak their language and has nothing to say. He makes no plea to stop, nor curse or words of anger leave his lips. Only self-loathing is in his mind. He deserves this for what he's done, for surviving what others have not. For the actions he has taken, anything less than this would be an insult. The old man watches. In the pause he asks questions that Gideon ignores. The beating starts again. That sinister old man looks at him like he can't wait, like he is tenderizing a raw steak before cooking, expecting a wonderful meal. Gideon is taken back to his cell, and the next session is in D 4 days, equals 1 day. I think Gideon takes his time just to think and rest this day, gaining back 2 hit points and putting him at 8 out of 14. Gideon is thrown back into his cell. At first he lays there in the position he was left, and then he weeps. The second torture session comes. Gideon loses 1d4 hit points equals 4, putting him at 4 hit points. He gains the 4 trauma points, and that's also another plot point. So let's roll that, as we've got 3 now. So we rolled and got a 7, a new entity. Let's find out who this is. Let's make a 1d4 chart. 1, they found a translator. 2, someone has come to save Gideon. 3, the station is under attack from an unknown party. 4, a professional torturer has been hired. We rolled a 4. A professional torturer has been hired. Also another plot point. Poor Gideon. Let's roll his willpower check. 1d4, 1d10 equals a 9. Gideon, after this section, is at 20. After this session, is at 24 trauma points. At this stage, he is struggling. Gideon starts having nightmares and finds it hard to get to sleep. We will from now on every day roll a 1d6. On a 1 to 3, Gideon has a nightmare and can't sleep and gains a point of exhaustion. And on a 4 to 6, sleeps normally until he removes his trauma points back below 21. But now that they've hired a professional torturer, so I think that Gideon will now not get his bonus to his willpower checks. But there is a chance that the professional torturer believes that Gideon does not have the information they are looking for. We'll say the same. 1d6. On a 1 to 3, nothing. On a 4 to 6, the professional torturer believes that Gideon doesn't have the information. The next day, Gideon is taken from his cell again, bound and brought to the same room. The old man sits and watches him beat again. Gideon says nothing. He makes no plea to stop, nor curse or words of anger leave his lips. The sinister old man gets angry, shouting at Gideon and pulling on Gideon's hair, bringing his face closer. Gideon knows he should not, but can't help a smile. The old man is stunned. The old man quickly licks his lips and throws Gideon to the floor. Gideon is back in his cell, and the next session is in 1d4 days. We rolled a 4. Let's roll Gideon's nightmares first. So 3, 1, 4, 4. So on the first day, Gideon's going to have a nightmare, and on day 2, he'll have another. But day 3 and 4 are both fine. Gideon gains 2 exhaustion points, but over the rest of the other two fine days, they'll go away. He heals 4 hit points. Gideon still works out over the 4 days, as it's the only thing he can do to get his mind. He gains another 48 experience to the body stat, which gives him another +1 to a total of 3. And he is 37 out of 48 experience to the next one. Gideon is thrown back into his cell. Gideon sits. Something is about to snap within him. Instead of tears comes laughter. Instead of wrath or self-loathing comes apathy. And instead of sleep comes nightmares.